On today's Locked On Mavericks podcast, Isaac and I are going to be talking about the NBA and what went wrong and what went right this season.
And I'm going to share where we've been wrong the most this season. There's one team that I was so wrong on.
And I'm going to say another team Isaac was so wrong on. Talk about all that on Locked On Mavs coming up right now.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor at Mavs.com. The NBA, the NFL draft dude, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Oh, man, today's a fun day. We have a Mavericks game tonight against the Detroit Pistons.
If you're watching on YouTube, I'm doing quote unquote game coming up. No idea who's going to play in this game. So
I was going to say, don't you dare act like this is like a guaranteed win, because we know for sure there's no.
I just have no idea who's playing for sure. Well, everybody in the YouTube comments is saying that this is a guaranteed loss. They're like, oh, next upcoming games against the Pistons and Wolves, guaranteed losses, all of them. The Mavericks can't beat bad teams.
Yeah, so there's a game against the Pistons in Detroit. Weird travel, thing for the Mavericks, having a back-to-back in California against Sacramento and Golden State. Now you have to fly to Detroit to have this Pistons game. But no, hopefully they take care of business. But there's also, if you follow American football, there's also the NFL draft. And guys, if you're into the NFL draft, we have a ton of stuff going on with our Locked On NFL everything live. We're going live, right? Or not? I mean, not us, but host on the show.
Locked On NFL is going live on YouTube, so go and check that out. Locked On NFL, go and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Lots of good stuff up there already, but they will be going live. Really good stuff on the draft. They have a local expert for every single team. It's a solid group of guys. I love hanging out with them. We even make memes about them.
Wait, the prospects or the host?
About the hosts.
Okay.
I'll show this meme that I just made on
We have
YouTube.
a couple of hosts that's actually there, right? Or they're going to
We have hosts that are in Atlanta that are going to be in a studio breaking it all down. So this is a meme I made off of our Locked On Broncos host, Cody Rourke. He's great.
That's hilarious.
If you're watching on YouTube, it's him sitting at a table and he has his hands out, in front of him, and it says, "And I took that personally," when they gave Brock Osweiler $72 million. Anyway,
yes,
we're totally derailed already on this off day. This episode is brought to you by Locker Room. Download the app and join us today, sometime, I guess, on Thursday. We will be live on the Locker Room app. So follow Nick Van Exit, and I will be live at some point during the day. It'll probably be during the day, during the afternoon. So we'll see what happens on that. But follow Locker Room, change the way we talk sports. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into today. We're going to talk about the most surprising team in the NBA, in a good or in a bad way. We'll talk about the award that we're most intrigued by. And then we'll get into what we were wrong about the most, either a player or a team. We make our predictions every year. We do our board bets. I went and I checked our board bets. I don't know if you did.
Oh, I did not know.
I went and checked them. So I got all the teams. So hopefully you have some players, because I just went all the team round in that one. But let's start with the most surprising team for you. And mine is playing right now. But it's the Phoenix Suns. I had the Phoenix Suns, as like the 7th seed, 8th seed, maybe like a budding team getting ready to take the next step. And they just took that step. They just literally took it and ran and took that next step. They are a solid team. I still can't, in my mind, wrap it around them being a finals team, but they're that good. They're on like a 60-win pace. If it was a normal 82-game season, they're a really good team. And Chris Paul has taken them to just this next level that we didn't expect.
Yeah, when you look at the standings in the West and you kind of look at each team and say, okay, what was the storyline around this team, and is it very far off than what you thought? It's like Utah, we expected them to be a good regular season team. Maybe not, one, but we expect them to at least have a good record, bring in most of the guys back and all of that stuff. you look at the Clippers, Nuggets, Lakers, like some of these we understand about the Lakers because of all the injuries and stuff. Nuggets, we expect them to be right there at the same whatever. Clippers, same thing. The Suns is the big outlier in this. I know some people, like not all people, some people were all about the Suns saying, man, I think they can be a top 4 team. This is diving into the thing I was the most wrong on for this season was the Suns. I was not confident that they would, even be a top 8 team in the West. And I think it just boils down to, I wasn't confident that Chris Paul would be the answer to it all. Did I just rhyme?
You did, and it was great.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
You rhymed it and you meaned it. So
I question so much of their youth and the fact that Devin Booker being your second best player, DeAndre Ayton, some of these guys, Cam Johnson, I love Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, future all-star in the league. And when you have the young talent on the team and bringing in Chris Paul and to make that big of a leap, we see what Chris Paul did with OKC. And it wasn't I thought Chris Paul would just be super old this season. I just didn't think that he would be enough to take them into that level of the West. And I was wrong. They've proved me wrong completely this year.
Yeah, absolutely. They have just been another level. Chris Paul, he's averaging 16 points, just about 9 assists, 2 turnovers, which is a crazy percentage right there. That assist to turnover ratio is wild. And he's shooting decently well, like 49% from the field, 38% from 3, just about 93% on the line, and just being really efficient and just taking him to that next level. Like that level they went from Ricky Rubio to Chris Paul is just like, what an incredible upgrade. It may say a lot about Ricky Rubio as a player. And Locked On Suns host Brendan Clean mentioned that on our last time that I talked to him. He was like, yeah, they just went from Ricky Rubio to Chris Paul. And it just like, you didn't realize how much of an upgrade it was until you started seeing this team play. And they had a Jay Crowder too. And they just figured out who they was and who they were. And Monty Williams, that's a guy that we love. And we are so excited that he's doing well and finally in a good spot for him in the NBA. And it's just pretty exciting. And Devin Booker, it's not like Devin Booker has taken his game to like a next. He didn't take a huge leap, right? Maybe he took a step forward a little bit, but he didn't take this crazy leap to where he's a top 10 player or anything like that. He's pretty much the same production. He's pretty much giving the Suns the same production he was giving last season and even the season before. He's just more efficient now. He's better now. But yeah, it's been crazy. So the Suns, that's my first surprising team in a good way.
Yeah, definitely surprising. I left them for my the wrong group, but I'll go another route with this. Or the most surprising thing, I had actually a couple different things for this season. I didn't want to just land on a single team, which I could. I'll just throw the smaller ones out there. The Nets being as good as they are despite all the injuries, and so this surprising thing is right now. It's not a preseason to now type thing. But if you told me before the season, if you gave me the games missed,
we have to play the game again. We haven't played this game in a while. What if I told you?
What if I told you the Nets would have James Harden,
Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and they'd only play 7 games together and they'd still be at number 2 seed?
Exactly. I think if you told me those things, that they would only play that many games together. But also, if you told me the total games missed for Kevin Durant or all 3 of them combined, and you would have told me, like right now, I think they are for first in the East or right at the
they are. Yeah, the Sixers are 1 game back from them.
With 10 games left in the season, despite all that, they would still be number 1 in the East with a brand new head coach in Steve Nash. I think that is kind of surprising to me, no matter how much of the talent that they have. The Harden making his way to the Nets thing, kind of surprising that he got his way, but just because, all of that. But I just want to throw it. And the fact that Kyle Lowry didn't get traded, I think that's very surprising.
Yeah, that's true. That's a real surprising thing. By the way, though, you know who your preseason pick for Coach of the Year was?
Oh, I don't know.
Steven Nash. You picked Steve Nash to be. So this shouldn't be too surprising to you that the Nets are this good. But yeah, that was your pick. But we picked awards and we picked standings.
Oh, thank God you have those in front of you. I want to hear some of those in the third segment.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Surprising team for me, New York Knicks. Just everything with that. I never thought that Julius Randle would be playing at the level he's at now. Yeah. A few pods ago, we talked about all NBA teams. I personally had Julius Randle in my first team all NBA.
He's probably going to make it.
I hope so. And just what Tibbs has done with that roster and having them compete where they're at right now, I think the majority of people would say the Knicks. And it's like twofold. I'm happy for their fan. I just want to see the Knicks good again. I want to see playoff basketball and all of that in MSG. So that's been a shocker this season that they've been that good.
Absolutely. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about some teams that are surprising in a bad way, some awards that intrigue us the most, and in our third segment, we'll get to what we were most wrong about. I'll look back at our board bets we made in the preseason and get into all that. But before we do, with the ever-increasing number of makes and models of cars, it's impossible to stock all the parts that you need in a traditional chain front store. Why endure the pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning of, is your car this? Is your car this? Does it have this? And them trying to find that all when you know it all off the top of your head, and you can just look it up at rockauto.com. Why would you want to wait while the counterman orders the part on his computer, has to go get it from somewhere else, when you could just order it yourself and not just ship it to that store, ship it to your house? So choosing the brand is so important. You can get it all at rockauto.com. So they're a family business serving auto parts customers online for 20 years. Go to rockauto.com to shop for auto and body parts from hundreds of manufacturers. They have everything that you need. Just go and search the make, the model, the year of your car, and just look for everything that's available, even accessories, even stuff you may not have thought is at Rock Auto is. Go to rockauto.com and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in there. How did you hear about us box? They know that we sent you. Again, right in Locked On. And there, how did you hear about us box? Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into some more of these teams. So a couple of teams I wanted to mention that were surprising to me in a bad way.
Yeah.
The Bulls, and this is a recent thing, the Bulls getting, Vucevic and just being bad, like just going on this off stretch recently has been super surprising. We don't have to talk too much about them. Another team that we were surprised about, I think we both are, is the Wizards. They've kind of picked it up as of late. Westbrook's been going on this crazy tear. Bradley Beal's been doing his thing, and they're finally winning. I thought that they would be like eighth in the West. That would have been real surprising. I thought they were going to be at least eighth or seventh in the East. You also had them in seventh in the East. So we were surprised that team didn't pick it up, and we trusted in Russell Westbrook a little bit too much. That's a team that you don't want to play in a play-in all of a sudden because they're getting hot. Like that's the East version of Steph Curry and the Warriors, right? Like you don't want to play those guys because they can get hot at for one game. But I was super surprised by them. The other two teams that I have here are the Celtics and the Heat. Those are two teams that I just did not, especially the Heat coming off of that.
Well, the Heat kind of have that's another thing is like looking at some of these, like, which we didn't have this issue with the Bulls, like you said, but like the Heat, I almost put them on there, but man, they had so many, missed games for COVID and just like they've had a crazy
right now.
Like they have a lot of stuff for why, Miami should not be, for the record that they have.
Yeah, well, I picked, Miami's whoever they were going to have as sixth man, Hero or Dragic. I picked them to win sixth man of the year, and Tyler Hero has just not taken another step forward. So that's maybe another person or player that I was surprised in. Celtics, their players have missed just as many games or even more probably than the Mavericks had. And so you kind of understand that to an extent. Kemba Walker also has been kind of disappointing for them. And so that all that kind of factors into their season so far. But yeah, those are a couple of teams that were surprising to me in a bad way.
Yeah, I'll say the Pelicans too. Just I didn't think they would be, top 6, top 7 team in the West, but I thought they would be, firmly in the 7 to 10 range. I thought Stan Van Gundy would have been like great for them. And just
that has not been the case. So
far. Not at all. And
the opposite of that.
Yeah, and I've just been kind of surprised. To what I can remember, they haven't been like decimated with injuries, so it's just not really fitting together for the most part. And especially with Zion putting up the numbers he is, it's kind of surprising that they're 27-34, and they're not going to make the play-in tournament. I mean, they're good like 4.5 games back from Golden State and San Antonio, so that's just not gonna happen probably.
Yeah, like Eric Bledsoe's played 61 games for them. Ingram 57, Steven Adams 57, Zion 57, Lonzo 48. So that one's kind of down, but those top 4 guys, I mean, Zion, and as long as you have Zion and Ingram, right? You think that they would be, which I guess you could say the same thing for the Mavs too. The Mavs, like Luka has played a ton of games, and so you'd think that they'd be okay. So maybe there's something in there that we haven't seen. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to awards. What are the awards coming up that you're most intrigued by?
This probably shouldn't matter I mean, it does matter, but the rookie of the year stuff.
That's the first one I have too.
I'm so fascinated because you have like this 3-headed monster in a way. LaMelo impacts winning.
Is it a monster though? I mean,
I know I shouldn't say monster. That's what makes
it's at least a 3-headed dog, right?
I don't even say a dog, but I do think LaMelo is going to be like a really, really good player in this league. And so it's weird because you have the LaMelo stuff that if he doesn't get hurt, he's winning this award hands down. It's not even a conversation. Yeah. He gets hurt and now he's coming back, and their team's going to be the only one that's going to be in the playoffs probably, or the postseason. And
because the other guys in it are Anthony Edwards of Minnesota, Tyrese Halliburton of Sacramento. Like those teams are not going to be in it. They're out.
So it's like you have LaMelo, who is impacting winning when he plays. He has this, has the highlights. He's fun. He has the the steady stat line. Then you have Anthony Edwards, who has just like crazy shot attempt numbers. He has some highlights. He's getting the volume, all of that. He'll have the counting stats. Then you have Tyrese Halliburton, who's had this like just the steady grind all season long of what you're getting from him. He's not starting and all of that, but like exactly what you're getting. Rick Carlisle referenced him as potential rookie of the year the other night. So I don't think Halliburton gets it, even though he'll have probably the most games. Well, I don't know. Edwards might be there with him.
Edwards at 63 games right now. Halliburton's at 55 games. LaMelo Ball's at 41 games at this point in the season.
I think if LaMelo's not playing right now, right? Still.
He's not. I think he'll come back. He'll probably come back soon. If he can play 10 more games, that still puts him 20 games behind Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is averaging 18 points a game, just about 5 boards, 3 assists, but he's shooting 40% from the field, 31% from 3. His true shooting is 50%, so it's just not good. And if you care about, things like win shares, LaMelo is at 3 win shares, even playing 20 less games, and Anthony Edwards is at a negative 0.3. So basically an even in the win share. So that stat right there shows the difference in how they're contributing. Since February 12th, something changed with the with the Timberwolves, because all of a sudden Anthony Edwards got a bunch of shots. He's averaging 18.5 shots a game, and he's averaging 21 points a game. But his plus minus is a -4.
21 points on 18 shots.
Yeah, that's not efficient, but it is some numbers. So he's putting up the numbers. But yeah, LaMelo, it kind of goes back to the Brogdon like Embiid thing. It's not as drastic as that maybe, but the games played, how much does that matter and all that? Like LaMelo is obviously the best rookie, right?
Yeah, I think especially if LaMelo can get a few more games under his belt, I think LaMelo should get it. I'll just be really intrigued with what the voters do.
Yeah. The other one is one we've talked about before, so we don't have to get into it too much, but all NBA guards for me. I'm just looking to see who's that 6th guy, or who even is the 5th guy between, like, we know that Curry, Luka, Lillard, and Chris Paul are all locks. And then the other lock is one of the Nets guys. I don't think that 2 of them will make it, but like one of them, and it just depends on who you decide is going to get there. Like James Harden has had a better season when he plays, but he's played less games than Kyrie Irving. And then you have the 6th spot, and that's Mitchell and Simmons and Booker and Beal, and then maybe even the other Nets guy. You know what I mean? Like, who do they decide to go there? So that's the other one that I'm really intrigued by, and to see where the voting comes from. I think the first team should be Curry and Luka. I don't think anybody's arguing that. Chris Paul and Lillard are my second team. Maybe one of the Nets guys gets in there, and then third team is the one that's really going to be interesting.
Oh yeah. We went over all NBA the other day, but I had personally had Ben Simmons and Kyrie in there as the 5th and 6th guards of that. But yeah, it's going to be wild what happens with that. Also, the coach of the year. Steve Nash. I think Quinn Snyder had that in the bag for the longest time. I think Monty Williams. Yeah, Monty Williams is probably got that locked up. But man, I could hear an argument for Tibbs.
I know,
just where he has this. When you look up and down that roster, and if they finish 4th in the East and they have a better record than Boston and Miami, and like
Mitchell Robinson is out for them. Like he was supposed to be their best guy at some point, and then now all of a sudden a bunch of these guys have stepped up and they've just played in their roles, and it's been really great to see.
Yeah, so I think Monty Williams will get it, and we freaking love Monty Williams. So please hand him the award.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up, let's get into what we were wrong about. We'll dust off the board bets from the beginning of the season. We'll get into that and then talk about what we were wrong about coming up. But before we do, betonline.ag is the place to put down some money on some sports. Go there and use the promo code LOCKEDON to get a 50% welcome bonus to your first deposit. Let's check on some of the games for tomorrow. The Mavericks game is not on here, which I was not surprised about because we're not sure who's going to play in that game, really. Warriors, 5-point favorite over the Timberwolves. I think they'll probably have a bounce back game. The Bucks, a 12.5-point favorite in Houston. That seems like a trap game to me. That feels like a real trap game.
No, they got that.
Oh, well, 12.5 points is a lot, man.
Yeah, and the Rockets have a lot of.
I know when the Mavs lost to the Rockets, and I think John Wall is out, right? Yeah. So. And then New Orleans, a 9-point favorite over the Thunder. I'm not sold on that one either. The Thunder play hard.
Yeah, I'm not sold on that one.
I'm not sold on that one. There's all kinds of stuff you can bet on betonline.ag. There is NFL futures. There's NFL draft, all kinds of stuff. Let's see. First round props. Oh, we love these. Cornerbacks drafted in the first round over under 4.5. You could draft quarterbacks in the first round over under 5.5. Man, all these quarterbacks people are talking about, how many of them are really going to matter? Running backs in the first round. Will there be basically a running back taken in the first round?
Oh yeah, sign me up for that.
All kinds of stuff you can bet on betonline.ag. Again, use the promo code LOCKEDON, get a 50% welcome bonus to your first deposit. Bet online, online sportsbook experts. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into the what you were wrong about most this season. So
give me something you have in front of you. I'm ready.
Dusting out the board bets. Should I just put it on the screen? I can.
This is gonna be amazing.
We can start looking through it, but with some of the things that stuck out to me at first. You want me to put it up?
Yeah, put our awards.
All right. Well, I have the awards and I have the standings. They're all together.
Okay, cool.
This is what we have.
This is before the season even started.
Before the season even started, this is what we picked. I had Luka for MVP. You had Anthony Davis. The injury kind of came into play there.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year, I had Anthony Davis. You had Giannis. We're coming off of that Lakers finals high, I think, at this point. But you had Karis LeVert as the 6th man of the year.
Whoa!
he has gone on a journey. I had Dragic and Hero. Rookie of the year, I had Halliburton. I'm going to get real close. You had Wiseman. You are not going to get close with that one.
Dang, I'm out on
Most improved, I had Porter Jr. You had Ayton. That one might be a little close, I guess.
I'm so intrigued to who gets most improved, though.
It's going to be Randall.
Yeah, that's true. I just love that. I love that award for some reason.
And the coach of the year, I had Vogel, and you had Steve Nash with the Nets. So those are our awards that we picked. And then here's some of the teams that really stuck out to me. I had the Sixers as a 6th seed in the East. You're coming off of that terrible performance where they just got swept by the Celtics in the bubble, and they just looked awful. Didn't look like Embiid was locked in at all. And then he comes back the next season, and he just looks like a completely different player. But, yeah, I was completely wrong about them. We both had the Jazz as 6th in the West. And we both had the Suns as a 7th seed in the West. So we had them in the right order. We did not have them in the right place.
Look at my 7th, 6th, and 5th in the West. Suns, Jazz, Clippers. That could literally be 1, 2, 3.
And shift all that up. Just shift it all up. We both had the Raptors as the 4th place team in the East.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. And they just have completely bottomed out with injuries and all kinds of stuff. You had the Blazers as the 3rd team in the West, which is not too bad looking right now, but yeah, they did not hit that spot. And then you had Wizards as 7th. I had them as the 8th seed, and that was another one that really stuck out to me. Eastern Conference, neither of us had the Hawks, the Knicks, or the Hornets, who are all in playoff spots right now.
That's true. That's true. I forgot. Yeah. Did we do the play-in tournament?
We did not do the play-in tournament on this.
Dang, I don't know why we didn't do that. Postseason.
Which one of the? I mean, we talked about the Suns. We talked about the Jazz a little bit. The Raptors has been one that they just had a season from hell. Basically, they're playing in Tampa. Yeah. They've had a bunch of injuries and stuff. If not, you picked the Mavericks to go to the finals, by the way, and win.
Let's go
to beat the Nets in the finals.
But no, yeah, the Raptors. One is kind of surprising, and because the Raptors could have went one of 2 routes. It's the whole, do they get rid of Kyle Lowry? Then we thought they would, then they didn't, and they're still a team. They're still a team. If they make the play-in tournament, you don't want to play them. I mean, Nick Nurse, and if they're all
they're
healthy.
a game and a half out of 10th right now. The Wizards are kind of rolling, so
yeah,
I'm not really feeling them making that play in, but it's still possible, I guess.
I mean, if I was them, I would just say
2 games out now because the Wizards won tonight, so 2 games out.
Yeah, if I'm the Raptors, I'm saying, all right, peace out. We're going back home. We've been in Tampa this entire year, but
yeah, we're done.
I think the Blazers too. You know, for me, I had the Blazers. I was really high on the Blazers, and I had them as a top 4 seed. I mean, a top 3 seed in the West. And it's not that I thought they would be just amazing defensively, but I just thought they'd be a little bit better than what they are. And I love it was the classic. I think this is before the Zach Collins injury too. Not that he's the answer of all of it, but I just love the makeup of their team of on paper. And it's just another thing of, man, you can't just go everything off paper. They added Robert Covington. It's like Covington, McCollum. It's Damian Lillard, Nurkic, Zach Collins, Rodney Hood. I like some of their young guys.
Start naming names, and you're like, oh, I'm in on this, right?
Yeah, they brought Cantor back. I like Nas Little. Anthony Simons, they've been hyping up. At that time, they had Gary Trent Jr. It's like, all right, I like this roster, man. It goes like it's deep and everything. And there's just something about it that it just hasn't fully clicked. And they are horrible on defense. And I was wrong on them.
Yeah, last couple of weeks they haven't been too bad. They've been with Nurkic back, they're better on defense than like second to last in the league, but they're still not great. And their offense hasn't been that great either. Like they're 5th in the NBA in offense so far this season. So that's just not good enough to lift a, second to last defensive team in the NBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mavericks are a little bit better on both sides. They're 20th in the NBA in defense and 8th in the NBA in offense. So
I'm just laughing at my LeVert pick because I make this LeVert pick thinking, he was a Brooklyn net. And it's all right, cool. Kyrie, Durant, they didn't have Harden. And like he's going to come off the bench, light it up. And what a roller coaster that he's been on since then.
Seriously.
And from health-wise and trades and all of that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It should be fun. Who gets Defensive Player of the Year? Are you in the Gobert or Ben Simmons camp?
Well, it's Embiid or Simmons, right? Or one of those two guys going to get it?
I think Ben Simmons gets it. Will Jazz fans freak out if they walk out of this?
The answer is yes.
Okay, that's true.
By the way, Utah number 1 in defense, Lakers number 2, Sixers number 3, Knicks number 4, and Suns number 5. That one really sticks out to me as the Suns.
If Rudy Gobert wins Defensive Player of the Year, I'm predicting it now. We're gonna see some tweets from some players. We're going to see a few comments here and there of players like taking some shots at it and making fun of it. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. Kevin Durant will do like the thinking face or, something. He'll do some kind of thing.
But can't guard everyone. Gets played off in the playoffs.
Especially if they go out early in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
You basically picked the Nets to be what the, awards wise, what the Jazz are going to do, because they're probably going to get 6th man with Clarkson, and they could get coach of the year too with Quinn Snyder,
unless Tim Hardaway wins 6th man.
Yeah, that lasted 2 weeks, right?
Tim. But no, seriously, they have to take care of business tonight. Going back to the Mavericks against this Detroit team, the Lakers lost last night to Washington. So if we do a quick standings update, what are they? A game and a half back from the Lakers at this point?
They are game and a half. Yep.
Game and a half back. So once again, this is another testament of why you can't look at schedules and say win, loss, all this stuff, because
for any team,
Lakers just lost to Washington. Mavericks right before this, lose to Sacramento and Houston a little bit ago. So it's pointless. We joke about it every year. Don't be that guy. Don't go through the schedule and be like, yeah, it's a win right there. Well, I'm counting 10 wins over the course of those, 4 weeks. It's like, come on, stop.
You never know. Yeah, game and a half back from the Lakers. So if the Mavericks win this Pistons game, then they're just a game back from the Lakers. And it seems like LeBron may come back on Friday. That seems to be the talk and the rumor. So that's something to watch out for. The Mavericks may not have much more time to pick up some of that ground Blazers also just a half game back now. They destroyed the Memphis Grizzlies, and or at least they were last time I was looking. Yeah, they beat them by almost 30 or 20, and so that was another game. It's between those two. Their Mavs are not out of the play-in yet, right? Like if they lose the Pistons, and all of a sudden they're tied, and the Blazers have the tiebreaker. So
it's wild. The fact that Dallas could. There's a world that Dallas could end up 5th and play a hobbled Denver team in the first round, or they could finish 7th and play in the play-in tournament and be out in 2 games.
Yeah,
like, that's wild.
Well, I mean, if they played in the play-in right now, they would play Memphis first, and then they would play the winner of the Spurs and the Warriors if they lost.
Yeah.
So I feel good about their chances against either.
I mean, I would go into it feeling good, but it's just, I mean,
we're not doing the play-in talk. We're not doing the play-in talk. We've done it so many times. Already. But yeah,
I don't want to see Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. They look fun together.
That's the layout, guys. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast, go listen to Locked On Today. It's a great podcast, 20 minutes or less, and all the sports news you need in under 20 minutes with all the voices across the network. Great stuff. There you go, guys. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.